What's going on, guys? Mr. T here, and we are working on some new content for the channel today. We've got Uril the Miststalker. So I've been talking to a lot of the community recently, and we've been doing some bundles that I've been putting together. So today I've got a new video here, and I'm offering a ready-to-play commander deck up for grabs. All you guys gotta do is subscribe to the channel and comment below. In the video, we're gonna be going over some of the deck tech around Uril the Miststalker, how I built the deck, and some other options for you guys to improve this deck should you want to play it. So let's get started. Uril the Miststalker, he is a 2, a red, a green, and a white. He's got hexproof, he's 5/5, and he gets +2/+2 for every aura attached to him. So yes, we're gonna freaking go balls to the wall for auras. That is the goal. So we are straight up just going to attach as many auras as we can to him, and we are going to whack people for commander damage. Most likely, in a lot of cases, if anybody's playing a slow deck and you get this guy out early, you can make him lethal before turn 10 very easily and probably kill off 1 or 2 people. So that being said, it's kind of fun. Get right into it. Hope you guys enjoy this content and give me some feedback. Really appreciate it. I have tried to make this video cut down to under 20 minutes. That is the goal, so let's get right into it. We're starting off with Mazzy Truesword Paladin. As soon as I saw this card came through, I was just like, wow, super lucky. This is such a good card to go into this deck. When an aura you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you can exile it and play it. So if somebody is removing your auras, they can't target Uril, but they can still target the auras that are attached to him with any kind of direct target permanent removal. This is going to be great because you're going to get some of that back. It's also going to give your commander trample, which is fantastic. All right, Kayla's Command. You guys are going to see a very common theme, and that is I love to give my commander double strike. If we're playing a single focus commander and the option to give him double strike is there, we're gonna do it. So this is a 3. The things that I'm gonna use from this card personally, and it depends on the state of the board. You might go search for that Plains card and put it into your hand, but most likely I'm gonna do the double strike, and then I'm also going to make the construct. That way, if I'm playing any black decks, I have something that I can sacrifice instead of my commander. So one of the things I did with this deck is I made some token generation. That way we do have those options to protect our commander. Steel Seraph. Alright, we just want to give our commander over some things. So we can give him flying if somebody's playing a combo deck where they're causing everybody to lose life. This is a great way we can give him lifelink as well, depending on the situation. Most of the time though, we're probably going to give him flying, and we're going to knock off some players who don't have any protection from flying. Rite of Harmony, fantastic card. This can be a massive draw engine for you depending on when you're playing it in the game. If you're playing it early on, you may not be able to play as many cards. You might only get 1, 2, or 3 cards played that are going to let you draw. However, if you are also token generating, you can also get a few of those from there for free. So if you're making 2 or 3 tokens every turn, you're going to get 2 or 3 cards in this turn, and then you're also going to get it for all the cards that you cast that are enchantment or creature. Late game, you can end up doing this, and I've used that card, and I've gotten to draw 8 to 10 cards super easily. Brutal Cathar. He's one of those cards that if you're playing white in Commander, I just think you should run this. Honestly, it doesn't have a whole lot of synergy. It's just a little bit of control. He's great for taking out pesky copy token decks. So if you have somebody who's just copying other creatures, copying your creatures, copying their own, doesn't matter. When you exile a creature that is copied, if it's a token, it doesn't come back. It's gone forever. So Brutal Cathar, great way to manage that board state with that. Alright, Fiend Lash. Whenever a quick creature is dealt damage, deals damage equal to its power to target player or planeswalker. It's a 2 and a 3 to attach. Sorry about that. It's also going to give us reach. So if you're having difficulties getting flying onto Uril for some reason, here's another option for blocking any flyers. In addition to that, they're going to have to block eventually, right? So you're dealing damage with Uril, and they're going to be like, okay, I can't not block anymore. Like, I can't just keep letting him get through. They're going to try and chump block you if you haven't gotten trample on there yet. This is going to then let you do direct damage. wherever you decide to put it. Staff of Titania. I really like this card. So equipped creature is going to get +X/+X. I don't care if you have one forest in your deck. All right, I really don't. If you have one forest in your deck, congratulations, it's going to get +1/+1, and that's about it. What I do care about is when he attacks, which you should be attacking every turn, you're going to get that 1/1 green forest dryad, and it's a land creature token. So by the way, that's going to increase the amount of damage because it is a land. Fantastic creature token generation right there. If you can get one token out onto the battlefield every turn, that's awesome. It's going to get that much harder for people to make you sacrifice your Uril. Holy Avenger. Holy double strike. Like I said, guys, I love double strike, especially when I can add it on my commanders. But the other nice part about this card is it's a twofer for me. When it deals combat damage, you're going to put an aura card from your hand onto the battlefield attached. So you're getting a free aura whenever he deals combat damage. Which, by the way, he has double strike, guys. So you're going to get that once when he hits the first strike, and then when he does his second attack. So you're getting it twice. My gosh, is that freaking amazing. Indomitable Might. He's going to get +3/+3. It has flash. The nice part about this is it's going to be one of those times where they just don't see it coming. They're like, okay, I did the math. I've got 20 to block. I can take 2 commander damage and I'm still alive for another turn or 2. Or are you? Are you really? So, yeah, it's freaking fantastic because you're going to pump him up to make him you're going to get +5/+5 on your Uril, and depending on what other enchantments you have on there, it might be +6 or 7 or 8. We'll review some of those other enchantments and some additions you can make into the deck. But the main thing here is you're going to assign combat damage as though it wasn't blocked. They just may not see that coming. Cloth's Will. All right, let's focus up your camera. I know you can do it. So, there we go. If you control a commander, as you cast a spell, you may choose both. So it's going to deal X damage to creatures without flying, and then destroy up to X target artifacts or enchantments. Really decent card right there. It's going to be a board wipe for you. You can do it just underneath your commander's power and toughness so that he doesn't die. In addition to that, you then are going to have your choice of the lot of artifacts and enchantments on the field that you want to get rid of. Wish, this is for you guys. This is going to be a card that lets you have some flexibility with what you're playing. And also you can put things into your sideboard or even cards you own that are going to help you out in a pinch that you know you can play in this deck. Absolutely love it. That's one of those cards that you need to have a talk with them at the beginning of the game, where do you need to have a designated sideboard, or are they cool with any card that you own in any of your decks? If you call it out and you have it and they know you have it, are they okay with it? Paradox Zone. Honestly, the more I think about this card, it's even funnier. So we're gonna this is just a token generator, but this thing can get out of hand. So if you have those long drawn out games and this somehow stays on the field and everybody's stupid enough to let it stay on the field, this is one of those cards like it could be a threat for everybody. You're basically every turn you're gonna get tokens, and those tokens, power and toughness, are going to be equal to the number of counters on this card, and then the counters are going to double every turn. So it's going to start at 1, then it's going to go 2 to 4 to 8. So in 4 or 5 turns, you're getting a 16/16, a 32/32, a 64/64. Yeah, they're going to have to do something eventually. And if you take one of those equipments or your auras and throw it on there instead, and you make that unblockable, I mean, that's just straight lethal. All right, Guardian of the Flash. So this is a card we're going to discuss here real quick because I don't have it included in the deck. And one of those cards that I think you should add into this deck, I just don't have one on hand. That's not true. I know I have 2 or 3 copies, but there's 40,000 cards that I have to go through, guys. So it is a lot of luck of the draw for what gets to go into these decks. That is Robe of Stars. If you are playing a white commander deck that focuses on a single commander, I recommend running Robe of Stars in every single one of those decks. What it's going to do, it's going to give you the ability called Phase Out, which is here on Guardian of Faith. Guardian of Faith has Flash, Vigilance, and it's going to let you put any number of target creatures you control into a phase out position. Basically what phasing out is it doesn't exist, it's not on the field, it doesn't have summoning sickness when it comes back, but it's going to protect it. So no board wipes, no targeting, no nothing. It's phased out until your next turn. And then it comes back and it's not summoned, so you can still attack with it right away. Absolutely great mechanic for Commander if you're not familiar with it. All right, exponential growth. Guys, on turn 6, this card is lethal, okay? If you do nothing else with your commander, if you have any commander that runs green, turn 6, this card is lethal, as long as they have 5 power. So double target creature's power X times. 2 and 2 is 4, plus 2 is 6. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Staff of the Storyteller. Create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying when it comes into play, and then you can create one. Whenever you create one or more creature tokens, you're going to put a story counter on it. This is just a draw engine, since I did go the direction of creating tokens in this deck, and every turn you're making a token with, I think, about 3 or 4 cards. You're going to be making tokens. You're going to get these story counters, and then you pay 1 and tap the artifact, and you're going to draw a card. So it's a nice draw engine right there. All right, we've got our mana rocks. Now, I really only focus on mana rocks. This is a personal preference. I do play I have a very aggressive play style. I get overly competitive when it comes to Commander. It used to be a problem. But mana rocks really only come into the picture for me like this when I'm playing 3 colors or more. Other than that, you wouldn't see this even in a dual color deck for me. It's too slow in my opinion, but it will help even out your mana. Arcane Signet, I might play this in a 2-color deck, but even then, I feel like I would rather increase my card advantage by going for things like exploration or anything that's going to fetch me lands and put them right onto the battlefield. It's going to take that card out of play. Arcane Signet can be destroyed. It's going to give me card advantage and draw advantage because I'm going to remove cards from my deck, and the chance that I can draw a land the next turn is less. So why wouldn't I want to do that? I mean, unless I'm playing a mill deck, and then, I want to keep as many cards in my library as possible. But so be it. How many mill decks are out there? How many evil scumbags are out there? Alright, God's Willing. Protection from your color of choice, and you get to scry 1. Absolutely love this card. If for some reason they pull hexproof off of your commander, this can save you in a pinch, but also this could give you the window into ending a game. Basically, you have a green creature on the field, you can't get by it, it's got everything. Hey, my commander now has protection from green, you can't block with it, so yeah. Oh, Soul Ring. Yes, found some Soul Rings, found some Swiftfoots. I found so many things. It's just a matter, guys. Honestly, it's luck of the draw. It's a mystery booster. If I come across it and I'm playing and I'm making commander decks, or if I'm making these bundles that are meant for you guys to build commander decks with, I'm gonna put them in there. So, Commander Sphere. We're playing 3-color, so I did put in some multicolor rocks there. Again, the Cantor of Endless Water. This one's going to be maximum hand size. I honestly, for this deck, I prefer this one over the Commander Sphere. There's 40 lands, plus I think about 5 or 6 mana rocks. It's probably a little heavy, but I did that on purpose because you guys can take some of the lands out, probably drop it down to, I would say, 35 lands, and since the mana curve is pretty low. Add cards in that are going to give you a little bit more draw power, and some enchantments that are probably a little more powered, and this is going to work great for you. Because you want that no maximum hand size. You're going to draw a ton with some of those enchantment cards that we're going to recommend for you. Sajiri, it's going to give you protection of color. We already explained that. And then also, if you are in a pinch and you need land, which you should not be, you're going to have that option there as well. Starnheim Courser, there are plenty of cards that are going to reduce artifact and enchantment spells that you cast by 1. There's a ton of options. If you can get multiple of these on the field, combo it with some of those draw cards, you could easily go turns with playing 6-8 plus enchantments and ending the game, and drawing through into all of them. Crystal Chimes, good old Commander 2015. So sacrifice Crystal Chimes, you can return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to your hand. So let's say somebody does get a wipe off and they are able to kill your commander, you haven't given them indestructible for some reason, yeah, you get all those back. That could come in handy. Rancor, +2/+0, gives trample. It's a recurring aura enchantment, so if it goes to the graveyard, you're going to get it back. I love cards like this. Any card that lets me replay it multiple times throughout the game and eats up my opponent's cards, that's called card advantage. So my deck, if they use 5 cards to remove Rancor 5 times, my deck is 105 cards now, right? So I really like cards like that. Hyena Umbra, enchanted creature, gets +1/+0 and has first strike. We're going to need first strike on our commander. If we're not able to make him unblockable, or we're not able to remove other creatures that have death touch, first strike is going to be great for getting rid of those pesky death touch creatures. And those pretty much sum up the cards that I wanted to go through for you guys. So the rest, I'm just going to flip through here real quick. That way you at least get to see some of the other things in there. A lot of them, they're pretty basic. They're going to be utility. And then we're shooting for synergy, mana, double strike. So I'll call out a little bit of that while we're going through. This is going to generate tokens for us. Tokens, or we can board wipe anything under 5. First strike, vigilance, trample, haste, what's not to like, although there are enchantment auras that can give you that option as well. Frog Alchemist is going to have some graveyard control for you. Devastating Mastery, there are better board wipes, but it is a board wipe nonetheless, in case you need to use it. Find ways to protect your commander first, give them indestructible, phase them out. Sequence Engine, token generator. Recurring token generator. It's also going to remove things from graveyards. I like to make sure I have a little bit of graveyard control in my decks, guys. It is important. There are a lot of black recursion decks, green decks that are playing graveyard these days, and they've added in a lot of new cards, especially into Delirium, and some of those return straight to battlefield from graveyard cards. The power creep is real with that stuff, so even white has a ton of that stuff. Battle Mage Bracer is going to give haste, and you can copy abilities. I put that in there actually more to give flexibility to you guys, so that if you have some cards that have some actual activated aura abilities, you're going to be able to copy those. But that's probably going to be a card that if you don't put in some major combos into, I would probably swap that out for a better aura. Storm the Festival, I mean, we're just going to go search for 2 auras off top of our deck with mana value 5 or less. Alright, we're going to give ourselves some flying defense. I mean, we're going to make some tokens and get flying defense. Card advantage, guys. Again, this is another one. I don't care if you have 1 mountain in your deck. Get it out of your deck. Obviously, you're going to need 2 mountains for this one. Sinu, he recurs. He is a recurring flying chump blocker. We've got some removal here, artifact or enchantment. We've got some rampant growth, travel preparations, some 1/1s. We're going to put on some 1/1s, give them flying. Since we do have some token in here, we're going to get the option to get some draw from this. Honestly, though, if you take out some of that token generation, you're better off going with some auras that are going to help you draw. And then this one here is pretty good. It's going to give you +X/+0, and it's going to let you play that top card of your deck. Beast Within, we got some removal. We've got some more mana, and we also can untap our commander. Eternal Witness. I mean, some of these cards should be familiar. We got some ramp from Cultivate. Some +1 counters, and I believe that one is to fight. Yes, it is. So we've got some creature removal there. Lure, all creatures able to block enchanted creature do so. I really like this card. If your commander's big enough, it will just wipe boards. Knightly Valor, create a token, and it's going to give you vigilance, and 2/2, it's an enchantment. We've got another aura there. Some of these are probably some auras that, you know, they're a little heavy, and there are better ones. You could probably knock those off. Enchant creature gets +3/+3 and must be blocked. I like must be blocked. If your commander's big enough, just freaking attack and make them block. Get their chump blockers out of there. Get their good stuff out of there. Valor of the Worthy, more auras. This is a pump up aura, so Dragon's Breath, actually kind of nice. It also has an additional ability. When a creature converted mana cost 6 or greater enters the battlefield, you may return it from your graveyard to the battlefield. I think this is really only might need a rules check on this one, but if your commander dies, that's the only time that you're gonna get that ability. But it is nice because you can recur it. Sticky Fingers, we're gonna get Menace, and you're gonna get some treasure tokens. And then we have our lands. We've got some beautiful foil lands. All these lands I just pulled randomly out. Some full art lands from Zendikar. We've got some Ravnica, some Battle for Zendikar full arts. Lord of the Rings. I actually forget. It's like this is one of the recent remastered sets. It might be Dominaria or Ravnica, one of those. They did the retros like quite a few times recently. We've got Lord of the Rings, basic land, Command Tower, of course. We've got some Double Masters, some of the bounce lands in here for you. Evolving Wilds, again, Evolving Wilds, Terramorphic Expanse, anything to pull lands out of your deck, guys. You gotta do it. Card advantage is so important. And then probably my favorite land that I stumbled upon, so I would say between this card, the Axe Guard Armory, and the Mazzy, by chance to stumble on those two cards while just randomly going through cards and then be like, oh wow, that's really going to fit in. These two cards really jumped out. So Mazzy, Axe Guard Armory is going to let you sack it, tap it, and pay the 4 mana, 2 red, 1 white, and a colorless, and you're going to search your library for an aura or an equipment card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So you're going to go digging for an aura. That pretty much sums up the deck, guys. I hope you guys enjoy the content so far. Real quick, all I'm going to do is review some cards. I'll link in the description below so that you guys have some options. And you can also just go to EDHREC and look this commander up and see some of these cards. But I picked out some of my favorites. So we got Sythis, Harvest Hand. Sythis is basically going to give you a life, and you're going to draw a card whenever you play an enchantment spell. Shield of the Oversoul is pretty good. It's going to give you +1 in Indestructible. It's going to give you +1 in Flying. We've got Ethereal Armor. So there are a number of cards now that actually do Ethereal Armor's ability, which is just to give you +1/+1 for each enchantment you control. It's going to give you First Strike as well. Some of my other favorite ones, let's see. Whenever you cast an enchantment card, so we're going to go Enchantress Presence. And then Spirit Mantle. Oh, Spirit Mantle is so good. It's going to give you +1 and has protection from creatures. Of course, we've got all the glitters, +1 for enchantment and creatures. And then you have Winds of Wrath. That's one I was talking about earlier. That's going to destroy all creatures that aren't enchanted, and they can't be regenerated. Other than that, I would say some things to add into this deck. Anything that's going to give you enchantment draw, so ETB whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield, or cast, and then reduce that enchantment cost too. Those are going to be some great additions. Other than that, that's the deck, guys. Hope you guys enjoy. Again, make sure to subscribe, make sure to comment below. Probably in a few days I'll announce who's going to win this deck, and not too bad. We are under 25 minutes, so hopefully you guys made it this far. And make sure, honestly, in the comments below, if you guys have cards that you think would work really great in this deck that you could recommend for whoever wins it, I would love to see that. In addition, if you can give me any recommendations, you don't have to do it down below in the comments. You can just message me directly as well via Patreon or my email. But I look forward to making more of these videos, giving away some commander decks that I'm putting together. And until next time, guys, Mr. T,